Alec, welcome. How's it going?
Welcome.
How's it going?
Oh, it's going pretty well. I would say it's wicked good. In
Wicked,
fact,
my boy's
wicked
wicked
good.
smart.
Wicked smart.
We both dressed. We both decided to pick one of the two, and we dressed the colors accordingly. You know, that would have been good.
What? That actually would have been good. One of it, I should have. I was legitimately thinking that the other day. I was like, oh, I should put a green shirt on, and then I just totally forgot
Oh
about
man,
it
I could
today.
have whipped out a
Oh
pink
well.
shirt then.
Yeah.
Damn. All right.
Unfortunate. Wow.
Unfortunate, but we're here to talk
We
about
failed.
Wicked, the 2024 movie adaptation. All right. But as we start, the way we do our reviews, we both come into it blind, kind of like we don't know what the other person thinks. We don't discuss it at all beforehand, and then
Yeah.
we'll give
Not
our
at all.
gut check, which is our score that we're feeling out of 10 right now going into it, and then we'll discuss during the review, and then we'll lock in our final scores at the end. It could be the same or it could change, All right.
Hmm.
So let's see what we're thinking. All right. Three, two,
All
one.
right.
Hey,
Hey, we're in
8.5.
sync. We're in
Oh my
sync.
god,
All
that's
right. How about that?
synergy moment. We're back, baby, with the musicals.
Yeah, we're really back with the musicals. Oh my gosh.
We are so
This is
up
it was
right now.
we were um
All
yeah, it
right.
was it was delightful.
I
It was
thought
it
so
was
too.
delightful. It was I have small gripes with it, and they are
Hmm.
mostly small gripes. But overall, I came out of the movie theater. If you'd asked me immediately after coming out of the movie theater, I probably would have given it a 10 out of 10 because like I cried multiple times
10.
watching this. So
Give it to us,
I,
Alec. There's still time.
no, no. I mean, there is time. It's true. There's time.
So
I cried quite a few times. So it was
it
really
was
good.
really
I
good.
mean, I think it's a well told story, and I think the performances really sold this film so
Yeah.
hard because yeah, both the leads are phenomenal in this movie.
Yeah, perfect.
Um, yeah.
Perfect for the roles. Yeah,
So
my only like grievances are like mine are like I say has some issues with like pacing sometimes. Like it,
yeah,
like it felt like
my
there was a scene where it was like she was singing "I'm Not that Girl," and then it just cuts, and
yeah.
then she's got this invitation, and then she's out, and it's like whoa, okay. It's like
Yeah, that
the
whole.
story itself could use a little more fleshing out, but I
Mhm.
just overall I just enjoyed the whole package. It was like I had a pretty crappy theater experience the first time, so I went back and watched it again.
Uh,
Actually, so I
um,
saw it twice.
that's okay.
I might see it again
I'm glad.
tomorrow. So
I was actually very pleased with mine. Mine was quite pleasant. It was packed, totally packed,
mm,
completely full. Like, I think not like every single seat sold, but like every row had people in it, and then I had to pick like one of the front rows basically to sit in. But I did get the row
mm,
to myself, so I was happy about that. I was like, nobody, come on, I love that up close. I like having the movie like right
really,
in my face like that. I
I
love
go
that.
to
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I so we I saw it two times before the actual like release date of the movie. It was like and everybody's like it's a Wicked
Wow.
Day, and I already seen it twice. But yeah, the
Yeah.
first time it was like specifically early access, so I had to watch it in
Mm.
3D. I go in, and then the movie starts. Everything's blurry with these glasses on.
Oh
Everything's
no.
blurry. A
Oh
couple people get up,
no,
run
that's
out
horrible.
there, run out there and tell them.
Yeah.
Come back in,
Yeah.
and it's like fixed. So essentially, like it took away most of the blur, but there's like you got no 3D out of it. It was like putting the glasses
Weird.
on only prevented like just blurring. It was like anti-blur,
Oh.
but also like a dark filter on the whole movie essentially. So it's like not as
Oh,
pretty as
that's
it
so
should be.
unfortunate.
And there's so many shots that are clearly meant for 3D, like this thing right in the screen, and just like nothing. But the text, I'll tell you what, Wicked Part One, that's in 3D.
That looked
It's
amazing.
the only
I
thing
bet
that
that
was in
looked awesome.
3D,
Yeah.
and they never saw 3D again. But that was
That's
cursed.
awesome.
And there was like a
I.
lady in the back row, like being super loud. A guy was like,
Oh
can
no.
you can you quiet down, please?" And then There was it was just us, and then there was a mom and like three kids way down towards the end of the row. No one else in our row. But these kids, she just let them run wild. They just kept getting
No.
up and down, and they specifically chose to come in front of us every time instead of going
Oh
around.
God.
It's like literally
The
like 20 times. Like they go up, not even a minute has passed their back. I'm like, they're not even doing anything. They're literally just they're letting the kids wander out. They're like 6 years old. They must be like just going.
uh
So it was rough, and I was distracted a lot. So
yeah,
watched it again, and
that's horrible.
much better viewing experience. I still
Yeah.
enjoyed most of
Yeah.
it the first time, but just the beginning especially was rough. So
Yeah. Yeah, I the yeah, thankfully I didn't thankfully that didn't happen. Yeah, everyone was well behaved. There was definitely there's families there. I did think it was kind of funny. I think maybe the kid may have missed the fact that it says part 1 at the beginning.
mm-hmm.
Because there was a kid that was like, all of that. I think she was basically saying like for there to be
end,
a
yeah.
cliffhanger. I think that was what they were kind of saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't
Which I
really
did
know
think
it
it
was
was
a part
interesting.
one going into it.
Did you? So I heard this about a week before, maybe a week before the movie came out, maybe a week and a half, and I was like, what?
Mhm.
I heard that and I was like, what? Wait, hold on. And I saw the runtime and I was like, the movie's like
2
two
hours and
hours and
40
four.
minutes.
It's 10 minutes longer than the full Broadway production, and we're only doing Act
Mhm.
1. I
Yeah.
was a little confused about that. Seeing the final product, I think it's mostly fine. I think it's so. I think my chief criticism of the film is actually I don't really love how it looks.
Hmm.
And what I mean by that is that I think that you think of The Wizard of Oz, which was a massive step forward in Technicolor technology. Like it's one of the best looking films of its era because of the Technicolor. I don't want to say it was completely new, but it was a movie that like completely like transformed the way people thought about color in film. Like it just completely
Mm-hmm.
blew any other like version of colorization of film out of the water. And this film was a very like muted color palette, and I can kind of understand why it might do that because it's more. I guess this is Elphaba's story, so her view of the world isn't going to be as bright and shiny and wonderful. But like, I think I think for Oz, I feel like a little bit more of that would have done the movie some credit because I was not overly I wasn't overly a big fan of how just the general color palette of the film. I thought it was kind of too dull
Hmm.
for my liking.
I mean,
That's kind of
if you
really my
look at
only.
like the poster I have here behind us is like the promotional poster,
Mhm.
it's just so
Yeah,
colorful too. It's like super
yeah.
vibrant colors.
I would say that that's kind of really one of my only major problems with it. I would say that I think with you the pacing, I would call the pacing self-indulgent.
Hmm.
And I think Wicked being as successful as it is, I think it kind of has a little bit of a reason to be. I mean, this musical means a lot of different things to a lot of different people.
Right.
People love this is one of the most popular musicals, period. Um and I think it has reason to be. Um but I think that some of that might just like bog it down just a tad. Um
I think
but I'm not taking anything really away from the movie that significant. I mean, yeah,
yeah.
it's an 8.5. I guess that does like knock it down
Yeah,
a
that's the
couple
only
of
thing
pegs there,
preventing me
but
from
like
going to like the nines for me right now. So
yeah, yeah, and but I still really liked it a lot. I still really enjoyed my time.
yeah,
Obviously,
and
I
with that
cried.
being said, I do give musicals a lot of grace with like just generally like plot
Yeah,
and
hmm
things that would be more critical of with other movies. Because at
yeah,
the end of the day, like characters are just breaking out into the song. It's like it doesn't have to
sure.
be that serious. It's
Yeah,
like really nitpick everything.
yeah.
But
It it's the it's sort of the magic of it's sort of the magic of Broadway, where like you as an audience are of the it's sort of the unspoken rule of like, or the unspoken like acknowledgement of the audience with the performers, that they
Yeah.
like the just general like magic of that, like you're in a room with, a few hundred other people, and you're there to see a story and to be sung to understand the characters through song and through storytelling. It's sort of like this it's kind of weird, but because especially because it's like it's a thing that like not everybody has seen, and like general audiences, it's hard because like obviously there's a huge market for musicals, but yeah, it is that barrier that's hard to get across unless you're going to see a Broadway show.
Yeah.
I think that's just kind of an inevitability of like you kind of have to have that agreement still, and movies that do a good job of hiding or acknowledge, maybe not acknowledging that agreement, but like hiding that agreement as well as the Broadway stage does, like a stage performance does, is like that's the ticket. That's something that like Dear Evan Hansen doesn't do particularly well. That is the uncomfortable part of,
Yeah,
because that's like a more,
playing it too serious, like, so then when he breaks out
yeah,
into
because
song, it hits different. It hits
it's just
different.
like, oh god, it's just like, oh my god, he's singing at them. It's That's one of those things that just doesn't work, especially because like that is a more understated musical on the stage itself,
Mm.
right? It's the staging is a lot more limited,
Yeah, it's like one person on the
just based
stage
on
sometimes.
clips I've seen.
Just yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot more subdued. So it's yeah, so so that particular movie has, we reviewed it. It's got a lot of problems. We didn't love it, needless to say. But I think this movie does a great job of hiding that agreement, I would say. I guess that's kind of a weird way to look at it, but
But it definitely does feed
yeah.
into the legacy of it, and they acknowledge
Hmm.
like you're ending the movie on like Defying Gravity, which I know is like a big song for
Just everyone knows. Yeah.
yeah.
That's okay. So that's actually my other criticism of the film. I didn't love how that was shot. I
Like
felt like the camera.
on her, like
I
flying.
didn't. Yeah, I did the whole thing. I would say the entire sequence. I didn't love how it was shot. I thought the end was pretty satisfying, but like, there's just like a lot of like over the top camera movements. There's just a lot of CG
Yeah,
was not great in that
I'm
part.
not a fan of like
And
the on the face like flying.
mm,
Like it
yeah,
was just her face. I'm like this. This felt like it was a 3D moment. It was supposed to be, but
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But there's a couple points like that where it seems like pointedly like they were trying to make things for 3D at some points.
Hmm.
Which is like I would never
Right,
would have.
because
I never see a movie in 3D if I don't have to. It's always gimmicky to me, even when it's
it just,
working.
yeah. And maybe that is why that didn't work, because like how this is the one it's one of the few things I know like the general plot of Wicked, and I know some songs from it,
See,
obviously.
I was gonna
I
say
did Popular and Defying Gravity, but
don't mention anything because I don't know what happens after
oh,
like
okay, I
after
won't.
this for part two.
Yeah, I will not. I was not planning on saying anything more
Yeah,
about the future of the plot, but the Defying Gravity on the stage performance is like a massive moment, because essentially it's the more or less a cherry picker, I mean, for lack of a better description, like lifts her up off the stage, like up over. It's just like it's a really just like
yeah,
it's one of those like whoa kind of moments that like really is sort of dazzling. It's kind of like it's sort of like a more over the top version of the chandelier falling in Phantom. If for anyone who's seen that on Broadway, which I did, I was fortunate enough to see one of the last shows. So, but that's sort of like one of the big moments, is like where that comes down and like sway. It's like a
hmm
really big deal, really like pretty impressive special effect, and that's kind of the big moment of that, where she's like flying, she's like legitimately like soaring up over everything, and it's just like super like
yeah.
it's a big wow moment. And I just feel like it just isn't. They couldn't. Maybe it was impossible to replicate that too, because it's such a big song, and it's such an important song.
And I've
Maybe
heard
it's just
I
it
heard
couldn't.
that she
In
did
my
do it
opinion, I just
like while like in a harness and everything too. like in this movie. Like she
Oh, in the
actually,
movie. Oh,
yeah.
okay. Wow.
Apparently,
That's
apparently
pretty
she
cool.
actually made a point. Like they were like, you don't have to, we can just do it. But she wanted to actually, she's like, and I also heard the
Want
both
to do it
the
lightweight?
singers wanted to do all the songs live too. Like they sung
Mm,
them, they didn't like sing them and then try to lip sync after the fact. They sung all the songs live.
yeah.
From what I know, which is pretty cool.
Probably, yeah. I would say that was done probably as much as possible. Sometimes that can be. I don't know if you've seen Les Miserables.
Mm-mm.
That can sometimes be a problem
Mm-hmm.
on set singing, because that's actually the I would say is the biggest problem with that movie. I know that movie is very polarizing. I think a lot of musical fans really don't have very many positive like hardcore Tony watching musical fans don't have very many good things to say about that film. I'm kind of like in the middle where I think it's shot really beautifully, but I think the singing is like the worst part of the whole movie, which sucks because the music of Les Miserables is amazing, and it's kind of like the whole point of of it.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah. In any case, yeah. So yeah, I don't really have. Those are kind of my major problems. Everything else I thought was pretty wonderful.
It was wild to me not knowing it really much about Wicked except for like what it's based on. Is
Mm.
just seeing the animals coming. I had no idea all this animal shit was happening. Like, we immediately have this like
Yeah.
talking bear and like a was it like a wolf like as like
Yeah.
the midwife like it's like
Yeah. Yeah.
what's going
A
on
bear
here?
midwife. How
And then
about
Peter
that?
Dinklage is the goat.
Yeah, just voicing the goat. Yeah.
Uh,
Professor, I don't
I
remember
saw a
his name,
funny
but
like letterbox review that was like everybody's gonna be talking about how Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo's performances, but Peter Dinklage is goated in this one.
it's so stupid. I love that. Yeah,
It was so
yeah, I
funny.
so
It was so funny though. That song where he's like singing "Bat" and it messes up. It just ends the whole song. And he's like, "Sorry,
yeah, it's just like oh,
just come down with a
God.
cold."
Okay. Oh.
But
The
yeah, it's a wild world.
I will say
I'm
that
totally into this wacky
yeah.
nonsensical world.
Yeah, that was the thing that actually. So here's the thing. Like I said, I know like the major beats of the film. Like I know the like general overall gist. I know how it ends and stuff. But I didn't know like I honestly didn't know the stuff about the animals either. And so when
Animal
they
rights
started showing up, I
activism.
was like the same with you. I was like, oh, this is where this movie's going. Okay, that's kind of cool. And I could see the angle for where that was going. Because knowing the Wizard of Oz as a film, there's like with the flying monkeys and things like that. So
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm wondering if like that's gonna have to weave its way in somehow because she says Elphaba is very like defensive of it's like we that's how we shouldn't be mistreating the animals. I mean they can talk. They have like wills and consciousnesses and like that's horrible. We do that to them.
right.
So,
Like and
but
the whole thing where they burst into the classroom and take they take come here
oh
you
yeah, I
damn
was
goat.
like, oh my god.
Like no one knows
Yeah,
how
and I was
to
like,
handle these situations at all. Like you think really that's the best way to you could have handled that? Pulling him out by his
yeah,
antlers, saying "Come here, you
but
damn goat" or
yeah,
whatever they say.
yeah, it's just like, oh,
Making a whole
jeez,
scene
yeah,
for
and
nothing.
and then when the new teacher comes in, which is like
Yeah.
immediately after, I was like, oh, what kind of curse, what kind of curse stuff is he gonna show
Just
them?
immediately about how we're gonna like animals
Yeah,
and subdue
we're
them.
gonna subjugate them. We're gonna subjugate them.
There's like there's no care to how they handled it, and I guess almost everybody was fine with it. You know, you just have a couple
Yeah, they're like,
mildly
oh, okay,
outspoken,
that's
but
cool. Yeah,
if Alphaba wasn't gonna do anything, they would have been like, all right, well, this is what happened. Our teacher
yeah,
just got hoisted away, and this is what we're
yeah,
doing with animals now. All right.
yeah.
Wild,
Yeah,
wild.
I was like, I wonder if they're gonna go into who wrote that thing on the board, and I was like, oh, it's obviously as you come up towards the end of the film, I was like, oh, I mean, you don't
It's
say, it, but
Michelle Yeoh,
it's clearly Michelle Yeoh, and
not the
she
character.
was kind of not no, it's just Michelle Yeoh did that, yeah.
Michelle Yeoh, yeah, I think might be the weakest in terms of performance. Yeah,
It was unfortunate because she's great. she's normally great.
She's awesome. She
Yeah,
looks
I
perfect.
actually,
I mean,
yeah, but I would actually agree. I thought too understated. I thought maybe
some of the
for what they were trying to go
delivery of
for,
the
but
lines, it felt like she was just kind of reading. It didn't feel like authentically her playing the character, but you know,
I'm a big Jeff Goldblum as the Wizard of Oz. I love that.
gotta give Jeff Goldblum
I
a,
loved
a
it so
musical
much.
number.
Yeah.
Sentimental Man. Yeah.
um yeah, I thought that was great. I thought he was wonderful
Hmm.
as this
I was like,
conniving huckster that the Wizard of Oz is.
yeah. But I was like, damn, Michelle Yeoh really had to be bad too, because she was literally the only person being nice to Elphaba in the beginning. And so then I was
Yeah.
like, no, none of that was genuine. Like, so no one was on Elphaba's side for like
Yeah.
sincere reasons.
Yeah.
Um,
Not cool, Michelle Yeoh. Not
did
cool.
you see the what's her name? Kiala Seattle had a cameo in this. She's saying "This Is Me," the bearded lady, Greatest Showman.
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, she was the like
it's
the
really, yeah.
teacher. She was like the assistant lady. That was her. Yeah, I
She's
was
like,
like
let's see
I
where
was racking my
we can
brain.
hide you.
Yeah,
How's you?
I was racking my brain the whole time. I was like, why
Yeah,
do I know her? I know I've seen her in
yeah. I
something.
didn't
Where
think
have I
about it
seen
until
her? And
after.
I just connected it when you said that. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I also thought the beautifully talented Adele Dazeem
Yes.
showing up.
Yes.
The
The wickedly
wickedly
talented
talented.
one and only Adele Dazeem. Yes.
I thought her and the original, it's the original
Yeah.
Belinda showing up where it was both
Yeah, I never knew that she
was
was
great.
Elphaba. I never knew that, but I learned that.
You didn't know that,
Nope.
really? Oh, okay, yeah. That was like her big break.
Hmm.
Was that?
But
So
but that was a great. Yeah, I didn't know her until Frozen. Honestly, I didn't even know the name until that.
oh,
But
okay. Because I think she was on. Because then she was on Glee as well. But I
hmm. But
believe
they were
I
actually
think
really
that was.
really good in that song that they had.
They
Actually,
were. Yeah, they were fantastic. Yeah.
so that was
It
cute.
was
That was a
basically kind of like
cute little yeah, passing of the torch moment.
definitely passing of the torch. It felt like they were like. It felt like they were just playing. I mean, they were more or less playing the same characters, just on
Yeah,
a in a stage form. It was very fun. How they did that. So
that was fun.
yeah.
But yeah, so Ariana Grande was excellent. I think like I mean, she got so many laughs this movie. Like she just played the character so
Oh,
well.
I was it was interesting because like I feel like my audience, though I was with, they weren't really quite sure what to make of the movie for like the first like half hour because there was a lot of stuff that I was finding really funny, and like no one was laughing except me. I was just like cackling to myself in the like the front row. I was just like laughing. I was like, this is
You're
great.
like Arthur
And
Fleck
then
in there.
pretty much, yeah. Yeah, I was just giggling the whole time, and then eventually it got to a point where more people started laughing with me. I was like, yes, more people need a laugh. This is funny. Um, yeah, I mean, she was great.
She's great.
I
What's
thought
with
she was
these like
fantastic.
pop stars coming here like knowing how to act? Like we Lady Gaga,
Yeah.
especially when I watched The Star Is Born more so, and she's like really good actress.
Hmm.
And then Ariana Grande, obviously she started uh as like
Victorious.
victorious, yeah.
She was the.
But that's like
She was like
that's child acting. That's not
she
really.
was. It was child acting. I will say her as. Yeah, she was Cat, I think, in that, right?
Mhm.
And her as that to me was like she did that role so she could eventually take on this role.
Yeah.
There
Catwalk
is like an
so
element of
yeah,
yeah,
Glinda could
catwalk
run.
so that because like there is an element of like similarity to like they're a little
Yeah, she channeled
self-absorbed
that.
and sort of airheaded and ditzy,
Hmm.
but it's like channeling that to like a perfection. Like Kat's just like she's just like a goofy Dan Schneider character
Mhm. Why do you have to
Whereas,
say that?
whereas, whereas this was just like, yeah, it was like pinpoint crafted perfection. Yeah, she was great, very fun,
Like the comedic timing
and
was
like,
just on point. And, like the
yeah,
physicality of it, I think was like especially good. Like just like the her mannerisms and like little
mm.
choreography moments in some of these scenes. Like, oh yeah, that's
the, the,
but
the hair.
the one where she like throws herself on the bed and then she like looks back to see make sure she's still
Oh,
looking.
I was I was laughing so hard for that. I was just like, because I was just I'm just thinking of like, yeah, it's just sort of like how almost like how a little child would act when they were like they're not getting their way, like, and then they'll look and make sure that you're looking.
And I
Very
actually
funny.
really like Ariana Grande music. I've listened to every album, so I'm like a super fan of
Hmm.
Ariana Grande. But I actually never, having not known Wicked that well, I only knew "Defying Gravity" was a song. But I didn't know that "Popular" that's where it came from because I'd actually
Oh, you didn't?
heard
Oh, okay.
this
Yeah.
because that was actually a song, a very similar song on one of Ariana Grande's first albums. It's called "The Popular Song." And it's basically has like the same
Oh,
exact
okay.
harmony, and now I know that it's like a direct homage to this, and I had no idea. But yeah,
Yeah.
so it's funny looking
Yeah.
back because she was like actually a big Wicked fan years ago. Um, Apparently, like when she was a child, met the original and said she wanted to play Glinda one day, and here we are. And so that's
Hey,
pretty
dreams
cool.
come true. There you
Glinda.
go. It's got Linda.
And then she did a very
Yeah,
nice performative. She changed her name. She's like
yeah, the very
Glinda. Yeah.
uh but I love like how complex their relationship is. Like it's not just like a it's not a one note that you may expect from something like this where it's like, oh, the popular the popular kid learns to like the less popular kid. It's just like it's not that. It's a lot more complicated than that. Where it's like she is still sort of ditzy and self-absorbed, but she like learns how to sort of be a better person, and she brings like communication out of Elphaba,
Hmm.
and that's fantastic. And then meanwhile on the other side, I can never remember her name, the
Cynthia
actress who plays
Erivo.
Elphaba. Amazing,
Yeah.
amazing. She's awesome too.
Yeah.
Um,
Not
just
not only an awesome performance, but the vocal performance is top notch. I mean, they like stole the show, and there's like a couple of
yeah,
showstoppers that she does, you know. But obviously, Defying Gravity's been living rent free in my head now. So
yeah. I mean, vocally, yeah, she's just incredible. Um, I Yeah, no, I mean, you can't really have. There's no real critiques over the vocals there.
but she has to display the most range in this movie as well. You know, her character has the most
Mm,
depth with like how much emotion she goes through. So
yeah, it's yeah, and she did a lot. Yeah, a lot. She did a lot of really good work. Where yeah, where kind of she has to be guarded and defensive, but also like righteous and rude, but shy and nerdy, but kind and gentle. It's she's a very complicated character in and of itself, which is I think the fun of the book, like because this is based on a book, not the Wonderful Wizard of Oz by I don't remember the original author of that, but it was based on a 90s book that was sort of like a well, this is what actually happened, kind of like a reframing of the story
Yeah.
um, of like of kind of sort of what's going on. And I think that's kind of the, you know, taking a and essentially a book for children and making it a more complex, essentially a young adult book, more or less, a more complex character exploration is that's where uh yeah, I mean, I think the movie, I think it does a great job exploring that.
Yeah, it's such a cool concept. I think it's really good.
Yeah.
What do you think about my man Fierro?
Um
Come on. I
Hilarious
love
and
him.
charming AF. I loved him so much. I loved his introduction where he's on the horse. I love that. That was fun.
Yeah,
I also loved
it was
how
still
he
off-putting at that point. The horse was like, like,
yeah, yeah, oh,
oh.
yeah. It's like Mr. Ed or something coming
Yeah,
in.
exactly.
But but I love his introduction to also Shiz
Yeah,
University
yeah. What
is the name of it. What's the
some
what the
goofy
Shiz?
ass shit we got going on here for
It's
real?
yeah. Um, but I love his introduction where it's like he's not even pretending to not he's he is not pretending to not be bisexual like at all.
Mm.
He's just flirting with literally everything
Well,
that stands, and I thought that was
there's something
hilarious.
refreshing about it, where it's like a guy. It's like a guy that all these ladies are dying over, but he's like not afraid to be. He's like flamboyant, you know. He's like,
Yeah.
and he's got this super over the top like musical number that he comes in with. What's it
Mm,
like? Dancing through life. Yeah, and he's like all
yeah.
over top people's books, fucking their shit up, and it's like,
Yeah.
he just comes into a room and he fucks shit up. You know, he makes his presence known.
Mm. Also, so I remember thinking when they're first into the introducing the library, I was like, this is such a cool set. I was like, what a cool set. Please don't tell me this is the only thing they do. It's like there hadn't been musical numbers recent. I think there had been like a little bit of a dry spell before then. So I'd almost forgotten, like, I was like, man, that's such a cool set. I hope that's not the only time we see it. And then I was like, no, no, they use the set to its full potential.
Oh, and it's
they
freaking
they go
spinning
around.
the shit, go all over. Yeah,
Yeah. I was like, that's such a cool set. What a fun idea for a library.
I liked that
Um
Glinda didn't know the word for library either. It's like just the
yeah, it's
room,
just
the book room or something.
the book room or the room with all the books or something.
There's a lot of rare books here. Some medium rare ones too. Yeah. So we got
Um
Fierro. He's cool. Yeah, there's
yeah.
something cool about like he's like so like overconfident, kind of full of himself, but also you already see like elements of him just being a good person, which is like nice to see. You know, he's not one note entirely. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, I like the yeah, I like that sort of complexity of that sort of kind of breaking down the sort of the stereotype a little bit where he's all it's it's an interesting like that is the performative part of him is the sort of like I don't really care about anything. It's all about me. Um where it's not like he's not being performatively good, he's being performatively self-absorbed, trying to like hide the fact that he doesn't like that about himself.
mm-hmm.
That's such a fun well, it's like it's not so much fun, but it's such an interesting like I like that kind of aspect. Like that is something that D&D characters I play, that's kind of that's like the ones that I've played that have that kind of tendency. I love that sort of archetype where it's just like you it's where there's actually it's actually drawn more from self-loathing than it is from self-aggrandizement. Um
Mm-hmm.
because they want to be a good person. Like that's ultimately like their whole goal is like I want to be a better person, but I can't be. I don't feel that about myself. So I'm just going to be the kind of person that everyone likes, everyone finds fun, and you know. So I love that sort of stuff with him. So yeah, all that little complications with him is great.
And he like how he took the librarian and gave her a little sensual forehead kiss. Shut her up real quick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, dang man, he's working on everybody. He's working on
Like
anything that's walking around.
he comes in and just like the whole room is his. So
Yeah,
I'm assuming you might know more than I do, maybe not, but I'm assuming Nessa, Rose, and Bach are gonna be more prominent in the next part because they were very
I
minimal in this.
I don't actually know this. I don't know this. I actually didn't even know they were characters in the
Yeah.
original. Like I said, I know broad strokes. I don't know
Okay.
like down specifics.
So that's what
I
I'm
thought,
saying. I don't know. It feels like there has to be
yeah,
more there to make it worthwhile.
there has to be. I feel like yeah, there's got to be more there. Um, I I like that. I liked everything with them. I like the sort of she even has a complicated relationship with her own sister, which is also an interesting thing too. Because like
Yeah. She definitely doesn't stand up for her.
no, not at all. No.
None
Oh no.
any
Oh
of
no.
this shit.
No. No. Eee. That's horrible. But yeah, no, the yeah, no, it's but that sort of thing is really interesting too. Because it's like
And the prick Governor Munchkin of Munchkin
yeah,
Land father.
the governor of Munchkinland is an ass. So what's this all about? I expected better from the Munchkins.
It was so funny how she
But
was like, that adorable little Munchkin boy over there.
yeah.
He asked me to the dance.
Yeah, yes, yeah. Yeah.
Just referring
Yeah,
to
but
him as a little
he's
adorable little Munchkin boy. There's something about that.
um
He was
well
like
I
so
think my favorite
clearly simping hard.
yo hard hardcore. I mean,
It's like,
she even sees
Glinda.
it then with the train at the end there. I was like, wow,
Yeah.
that's rough. That's rough right there.
This is not
But
relevant to the movie at all, but do you know the whole like thing between the actor and Ariana Grande, the actor who played
no,
Bach?
what? No, what's up?
So he had like allegedly he had an affair with Ariana Grande while he had like just had like a newborn child with like his,
Hey,
his like wife.
what?
Old Bach. Old Bach. I think his name is
Oh,
Ethan
oh, Bach.
Slater. But
Oh,
yeah, he got a
jeez.
lot of shit for it. It was like some bad press going on for that for some time before the movie. Was like they
Ethan, you pimp! Don't do that. I almost said "rock on, bro," but I was like, "No, that's not cool."
yeah.
That's
So I mean, people didn't like. I mean, both of them. It wasn't a good look for either of them because it was like
no,
I think
that's
like
not
the
great.
wife had come out had made a story saying like, that he even like brought Ariana Grande over and like introduced her to the family and everything. It was,
Oh, that's so awkward.
yeah,
That's so weird.
just
That's
gives a
weird.
weird different layer when you watch it, knowing that. And it's just like
Well,
a weird dynamic knowing that he's like his character's like simping for her and she's into this other
yeah,
guy. It's a whole weird
yeah.
a mess.
That is that's a weird meta. That's weird meta moments there. That's kind of odd. One thing also that this is sort of related. Did you hear about the controversy of like the movie poster edit?
Yes, I did hear that too.
I was like,
Yeah.
no, don't go after the fans. Don't go after the fans for something so little.
Yeah.
And I was like, it was so unfortunate. I was like, I felt so bad for that fan. I was like, man, he just got hate for nothing. It was literally nothing.
Yeah.
I was like, he's just like, yeah, I just, or she, I don't know, or they, I have no idea. But
Yeah.
this individual was just trying to make, like, be like, I just want to make it
It's
like
like a
look a
fan
little bit
book.
more
Yeah,
like
it's the original.
and it was just like, how dare you do this thing? You know, it's like, oh God, it's just
Yeah.
a fan. It's okay. You don't have to hate him so much.
Yeah, I know.
But
It's brutal.
Yeah,
Brutal.
yeah,
But
it happens.
we give her grace
But
because she killed it. So
she did. She killed it.
I wonder what that how
Um,
that fan felt when they were in the theater watching this. What's
I don't
the
know.
mixed feelings?
That was
Damn,
yeah.
she's
How
too
did
good.
that fan feel? Yeah.
I wanted to
Um,
say I wanted to be able to watch this. You probably wanted to be able to watch it and say she sucked. It's like
yeah.
yeah.
You're like fine,
So,
but you can't. But you can't
can't
say that. Unfortunately, it's Um, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, I wanted to talk about. I really like the scene where I was thinking about the. I think I was sort of almost interrupting you earlier because I was just thinking about like Bach and Nessa Rose, but um, I really liked the dance scene a lot. I think that's actually probably my favorite scene in the whole movie.
Right, because it's just
Um,
no dialogue for a long time.
that's
It's just
the turn. That's like the relationship turn where they like get each other.
yeah,
They like come to an understanding between each other, and I was just, oh, that's like, that's what you
yeah.
want. That's what you want to see that. So, and they did it so perfectly, like perfectly.
It was beautifully done
Um,
because like they had the whole setup
yeah,
from like, oh, it's such an ugly hat that you have, and they're like, oh, we should give it to her, and so they like pranked her
yeah,
with it and everything. But then Elphaba hears from Nessa how she got her a date with Bach, and so she goes to
hmm
Michelle Yeoh, who I still don't know the character's name. She goes to
it's like
Michelle
it's like
Yeoh,
baba.
Baba
She's like
Booey.
the evil Baba Booey, basically. Yeah,
So she goes to Baba Booey and gets her to give the wand to Galinda, which was a funny scene also, where she was like, "Actually, I have no faith in you."
yeah. I don't know. She honestly, I don't know what she sees in you. Like, I have no faith in you whatsoever.
So it was like she did this mean thing to her, and then meanwhile she was doing this nice thing for her, only because she was like Galinda wasn't even doing that for Nessa to be nice to begin with. It was just to get
Right.
Bach out of her hair. So it was
Yeah.
like a weird thing of like Galinda doing a couple not selfish acts, and then
hmm
Elphaba just being selfless. So
Yeah.
she's like, finally something clicks there.
Yeah.
This whole entire
Where it's
school
just
is
like,
so heartless. Just like
yeah, they're all yeah. It's very like over the top in the ways that kind of only the magic of movies can sometimes, or musicals, I would say, can kind of make work. It's sort of Mean Girls ish in a lot of ways. I felt like,
yeah,
in ways that
especially those
work,
two
in ways that
friends
I liked.
for Glinda's
Oh
two
God,
friends
yeah,
are so annoying.
they're awesome. They're so horrible.
Yeah.
Um, the yeah, I love that sort of like where Prince guy was sort of like, look at her, she just like she doesn't care about what anyone thinks, and it was like, no, it's not that. I think she cares very much about what everyone thinks, but she's just pretending not to.
Hmm.
And it's like, yeah, I mean, there's a degree of that like you know, in particularly in this character where it's like, of course that means a lot. 'Cause she's gone her entire life basically of nobody seeing her as anything. So yeah, I mean that matters.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that scene was wonderful. So
And so the way it all wraps up, I mean, I was like, I was all in. I mean, it was
yeah,
just like, it was just the big song and everything, but I was like, damn, that hits, because she's like, all the stuff that she's been put through, it's just like
mm,
really comes to a head there, and just lets it out with the big song, you know. And it was cool. The whole, but
yeah,
it
very
was
cool.
very confusing what like Glinda was gonna do though. It's like, are you coming with me? Are you not? Okay, you're gonna stay, but it's all good. I'm giving you the robe, but it's like,
Yeah,
I hope you're happy. It's like, oh, there's a lot of, I don't know what's,
yeah. There's a lot of complicated feelings and emotions and stuff going on still. Yeah,
but knowing where it leads, it's like, well, what's gonna go on here? You know,
yeah.
I imagine there's some tomfoolery and some shenanigans, like some propaganda type shit that leads to what we saw in the beginning of the movie. But
Mm.
you know,
Well, we already kind of see that a little bit already starting, where she's like, she's the worst, she's horrible, she did all these terrible things.
and she's fucking green. I mean, give me
She's
a break.
how dare, how dare.
Some of it was very like, you already could clearly tell they were setting stuff up. Like when they bring out the hat,
Mm,
it's like, okay, well, we're gonna get her the iconic hat. When she puts the broom
hmm
on the door, I'm like, oh, that broom is getting off of there.
Yeah,
That
that
broom.
broom's coming. Yeah, yeah, that's the Chekhov's broomstick.
Hmm. But it was
Chekhov's
cool.
broomstick.
It
There,
was
yeah.
cool. I mean, it was like shameless how much it was just like really going into the hype of the song and everything. But I was all
Mm.
for it. She's just falling, sees her little self, reaches out to her, and the broom comes. It's just epic. Unlimited. So
Good. The score, yeah, obviously the score songs all really solid, all
yeah,
really
and
great.
they had a fun way of like bringing some elements back from different songs too, at key
Mm.
parts, which is really cool.
Yeah, that's a tradition of, especially particularly for your last or sort of the finale of Act One, to like bring elements in from other songs.
Yeah,
Like Hamilton does it, and does it here as well. I love that. Yeah, you got to
yeah,
celebrate. You got to remind everybody, because you sort of have to like remind everybody, like, this is the point we're at. This is the moment of all this tension. This is where we're at with the story right here. So yeah.
it was like I really liked what they did with the unlimited, like that they
Mm.
carried that over, like when they were talking about themselves, and then it's just like okay, then I'll just be unlimited, um, and then like her saying like, as someone told me lately, everyone deserves to fly, and she's just like facing off against them on that
Mm.
broom. It's
Mm-hmm.
pretty cool.
Good stuff.
Also,
Wait,
when Peter Dinklage the goat was talking about a dear friend of mine, something or other, and they're like, a
a dear
deer,
friend.
a deer? No, a cow actually.
Yeah,
So
yeah. It's like uh, animal puns. Gotta
yeah.
love them.
Oh, and the wicked also, I guess like a signature of this world is like the fluffing up the language, like such
Oh yeah,
braverism, and
yeah. I was like, yeah. Oh yeah. What? Yeah. It is. It is very much a. It's a staple of the language
like
of
yeah, it's
Oz,
like
I
the language.
guess.
It's like he's such moodification. Like they just like add on extra syllables to it. Essentially, it's pretty funny though.
Yeah,
Always catches you
it
off
was.
guard.
Yeah. Yeah. You're just like, oh,
Uh,
even like normal people do that.
yeah,
The Michelle Yeoh does it. I
Michelle,
was
yo,
like, oh.
congratulations. I think is what she
Yeah.
said.
It's like, it's just
Oh,
like, oh, okay.
you
It's
never know what you're
weird.
gonna get. You know,
Yeah.
you just randomly mix up the sentences every now and then.
Yeah.
Remix. All
Hmm.
right. Anything else?
We have to wait a whole another year for the
I know,
movie,
but
for the next one.
I'm here for it
That's
though.
crazy.
I,
Hey,
I'll say
I
two
like
hours
it.
and 40 minutes. Like I've never seen a movie go by that quick. That was like almost 3 hours. Like
Yeah.
I didn't feel it.
So yeah, so awkward sort of transition pace and stuff aside, honestly, that felt I was a little surprised too at how quickly it felt like it went by.
Hmm.
Like, I don't think I'd been that like wrapped up in a movie that long, probably since like, I don't know, like Oppenheimer, like, was 3 hours, and it definitely I don't think it like overstayed its welcome, but like it still feels like a long movie. So maybe like No Time to Die, because that movie was about the same length, and that I saw that like 3 times in theaters, and it never felt like it was almost 3 hours long. So
But I just felt I came out of the
uh,
theater like feeling so good. Like it was just like
mm,
I was here for all of it. And
yeah,
yeah, so I'm excited for part two now.
yeah.
Okay, so now my
Same.
quarrel is
I
yeah.
I was just gonna say I feel like we need to bring back the 6 months. Make it a summer movie. Like that's what Matrix 2 and 3 did. It was a 6 months basically, or 8 months or something like that. It was like, bring that back.
Mm,
You have to wait a whole other year. It's like a year. That's a long time.
it
But
is.
that's
What
fine.
do you think Oscar season? What do you think? Do you think Wicked's gonna get in there?
I think it's got some possible potential. I
Like,
don't really know what else. I don't know what the big buzz movies have been this year. I haven't really been paying that close attention. So
mm,
I think it should get some nods in something or the
like the
other. Maybe
performances. Come on.
costume, costuming, at least costume design. You
Yeah,
know that
costume
in and
design.
of itself.
Oh,
Um,
well, I don't really know the rules for like the best song Oscar. Like, does it have to? It has to be best original song. Like,
Yeah,
so it
yeah,
probably
I think
wouldn't
it might
be
have to be.
eligible for that.
Yeah, it wouldn't be because I don't think
Otherwise,
there's any.
otherwise you have
So from
Defying
what I
Gravity.
understand,
She's singing that at the Oscars.
yeah, yeah. From what I understand, the next part is going to be having more original songs as
Hmm.
opposed to the first part because I don't know if there were any original songs in this compared to the original musical. I'm pretty sure all of the songs in this were from the stage version, but I think they're supposed to be adding more in the next one. Which if it's going to be
Okay.
as long, I guess that makes sense. But
Yeah. So maybe they'll get a chance there.
so
But I do think the performances should be acknowledged. Hopefully, at least one of them gets
yeah,
nominated for something would be cool. Um.
it would be. It's definitely going to be so like Golden Globes. They're kind of a joke. I know everyone sort of jokes about them because like all the Hollywood stars go out and they just get drunk because it's the Hollywood Foreign Press
Hmm.
and it's a bunch of people that no one really knows or cares about votes on it. But it's because those have categories for like I think it's a musical or comedy, like best performance in a musical or comedy. I think these have like these should be just like easy shoo-ins for category
Easy.
wins. I think, but yeah,
But yeah, now my struggle is like I really would love to give it a higher score. I'm just trying to think if I can
yeah.
justify it or not. Um.
Well, I've already written down my.
Okay. We've talked so positively about it, like for almost entirely positively. It's hard to
Yeah.
really.
Well, I want to get the negatives out of the way early because like I honestly I
But the
they are the things
negatives.
that sort of
Yeah.
those are the things that hold the movie back for me a little bit. But like overall, I'm still very positive about the film. I really enjoyed it quite a lot, and
Yeah.
because I think those things had they maybe ironed them out a little bit would have elevated the movie even more in my book. So
Final score. 3, 2, 1. Flip. 8.5.
yep, I think it stayed pretty firmly there for me. But hey, that's a mark of a really good movie.
Yeah, let's.
One that I'll be
Yeah.
watching in the future. I might try to rope other people to go see it with me, maybe.
For real. I mean,
Though was other, it's
because
good. I
honestly, I
mean, I
was
really
going
liked it.
going into this. Whoa. Did you get shorter, or is that just? I imagine that.
I think I whacked I might have gotten a little shorter. I accidentally whacked my monitor, so it might have knocked my camera a little bit.
I'll say going
Oh
into
well.
it, like after the fact, I was between 8 and 8.5 before,
Mm,
but then by the end of it, now I'm up between 8.5 and a 9. So
yeah,
it's just like viewing it as a
yeah,
movie. There's a couple things holding it back. It's not fleshed out as much as like I would want like a 9 out of 10 to be,
yeah,
but it's right there,
yeah,
and it's like I would love to give part 2 a 9. Hopefully, it lives up to it. Um, and it's absolutely one of my favorite movies I've seen this year, at least. I don't know. I'm trying to
yeah.
remember
I
what other
think
new movies I've seen. This
so.
will
The
be
only other thing
above
is
it.
we didn't review it on the channel, but the only other thing that I would say like Deadpool and Wolverine I saw,
Yeah,
and that was
I
like
want to see that before the end of the year. Still,
that was incredible. That was incredible.
I did
I,
see
I love that
Inside Out
movie. So
2, but
yeah, and I thought that was really good.
yeah,
But did we review that?
no.
Remember if we didn't
No,
review
because I
that, did
didn't
we? I
watch it
was like,
until
that's interesting.
recently. I didn't.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I thought it was really good,
I didn't
by the
like it
way.
as much as
Just
everybody
throwing that
else
out
seemed
there.
to. I thought it was good, but
Yeah. Yeah.
like I think this is probably
Yeah.
better for me. This
This
might
is definitely
be
better for me as well. Yeah.
this
I
might
think I
be
would
my favorite.
probably, if I was to unofficial score for Inside Out 2, I'd probably give that an 8. So I thought it was very good. But
Yeah, in terms of the movies that came out this year, that's my
mhm.
top of my list right now.
Yeah.
So you know, um, I loved it. I loved it. We loved it. That's great.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
Very good.
We love our
High
musicals.
recommendations. High recommendations if you want to go see a movie with the family. This is a good one right here.
Yeah, and we love our musicals. We've done a lot of musical reviews here.
Hmm.
we don't review musicals. We do musical reviews where it's like the whole time we're reviewing movies in song. I
That would be weird.
wonder
That would be
if
bizarre.
that exists.
Um, kind of here for it. Oh yeah, I would be here for that if there if that exists. That'd be interesting to find out.
I don't know. There's a lot of great musicals this year. Wicked and Joker. Which one you got? I don't know. It's it's,
Yeah.
it's tough.
Yeah, I don't know.
Uh,
It's tough. It's really tough. It's really hard.
Tarqaron score 8.5. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
That might be the best
Yeah.
rated movie we've reviewed this year because I think pretty much all our other movies
Yeah.
were like
They've all been
Chance
kind
Time
of.
and like random mid movies. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So all
So.
right.
Yeah.
And thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, what video should our viewers watch next?
I was talking about this with a friend of mine earlier. Go check out a review of Tick Tick Boom,
That's another
which
good
is a
one.
musical that is slept on. I think people need to watch that a lot more. I need to hear more people talk about that movie.
Yeah,
So,
for real. All right, and then subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed. Like the video, leave a comment letting us know your thoughts, and until next time, take care of yourself.